Back in 2011, Professor Vladimir Khavinson made a prediction about the future of medicine. He predicted that in the next 10 to 15 years, peptide pharmaceuticals will become the most important discovery in the world. And it'll be interesting because we're right at the end of that window, another 1 or 2 years. And we're right here, right now, talking about some of the most profound benefits that these peptides can offer, like no one ever has. And I was skeptical when I first came across these peptides as well, and looking online to learn more about them didn't really do anything to alleviate my skepticism. Because there wasn't that much information out there about them, not that many people talking about them detailedly, how they work, what their real benefits are. Sure, there's a few guys who are posting videos and stuff and podcasts about peptides, but it's just not that common. But naturally, as an engineer and someone who's former worked in the medical industry, I'm one to investigate these claims very thoroughly. And, to my pleasant surprise, the further I investigated and the deeper I got into this research, the more promising it looked. And so that's what sent me down 2 years of obsessive research on this peptides. And that's why I made a Peptide Mastery course covering 69 of these peptides in such scientifically accurate depth, supported by over 300 research papers. But what was most shocking to me was last night I was having a conversation with one of my friends, who is a guy I'm also bringing on as a coach to Unyielding Vigor in the coming days, by the way. You'll be seeing some videos of him on my channel. But what was shocking was that he had the exact same prediction as Professor Khavinson did. And I know for a fact that this guy didn't see his article and interview where he said that. And so, in my opinion, that's what makes him so special, because we are living in a time right now where there's an incredible bias against certain things in the scientific community. We're in Western institutions, we have guys like Greg Fitzgerald, who's a neuroscientist that wrote that paper trying to discredit over 70 years of cerebrolysin research. And he knows for a fact that he's got to know, guys, that it's not a scam. Like, come on. He's a neuroscientist who studies peptides. It's just this level of bias. Some people don't want Russian peptides to have benefits. They don't want others to know about these things. It's just obvious, guys. Because I was seeing news headlines the other day. It was breakthrough, okay? Breakthrough Alzheimer's disease treatment, okay? Guess what it did? It improved cognition in mice. Like, come on, man. How many things do we have that can improve cognition in mice that have Alzheimer's disease? I mean, we've had even cerebrolysin for 70 years, and, it does so better than donepezil, which is an acetylcholinesterase inhibitor, I mean, get real. Just ridiculous. It's kind of a disgrace what the press is covering these days as far as news headlines go. It's nothing's a freaking breakthrough. I mean, come on. And so I wanted to share with you guys what my friend said last night in conversation, because what better way to be real with you guys than to just share a general conversation that we're having with you. And so check out.
Like the things you're talking about, like what they can do in your experience. Like, I know you're not the fucking type of retard who will lie just to make something look better than it is. And like I've been hearing from the people on Swiss's fucking server that like they're having like insane results with them as well. And Swiss himself like is having great results, and you're having great results, and like this is enough for me as external validity. Obviously like RCTs would be nice and all that, but like who gives a fuck, like we have something amazing things, not one thing, and like pretty much negligible side effect profile. And they do all this shit outside in the real world. So I mean, reading it on a paper is nice, but it's not the whole story. And like when I first saw your website, this was like months ago. I saw like on your website you wrote that peptides equals like nanotechnology, medical nanotechnology or something like that. And I was like, at first I was like, that's kind of a reach. But the more I like looked into them properly, like I see what you mean. They can have very fucking insane mechanisms and targeted mechanisms, and whatever satellite interactions they have seem to be positive, like, so I get what you mean totally. And I think like they're the future of medicine, to be honest. Like in the evolution of medicine, you'll see like big pharma companies making peptides that target specific things, and oh man, that's gonna be like, I hope I'll be alive for that time, instead of like just regular drugs, small molecule drugs. which are still great, you know, like I'm the biggest fucking fan of pharmaceuticals in the world, but yeah.
And I just loved hearing that, guys, because as somebody who's reached out to several hundred doctors just trying to share the power and potential of peptides with them, you know, and sent them several emails over the course of several months, and hearing back from a total of 0, it's just really refreshing to hear somebody catch on to the power of peptides so quickly and easily. But it'll be interesting to see, you know, as we talk more about the benefits of these peptides, if some of the more ancient Khavinson's ones actually start getting researched in a way that they deserve. You know, for example, some of the more recent Khavinson's peptides, including Pineolon and Vesugen, which were just discovered several years ago, have tons of research on them already, yet some of the ancient Khavinson's peptides barely have any studies. And it will also be interesting, like my friend said, about peptide pharmaceuticals as far as having selective peptides to perform a specific task goes. Because a great example of this would be FOXO4-DRI. It's a senolytic peptide. It works by reducing senescent cells in the body, which accumulate with age. And it actually is able to compete with FOXO4 for binding to p53 and route it from the nucleus to the mitochondria, where it triggers cellular apoptosis of senescent cells, but yet spares healthy cells. And in my opinion, this is amazing because the studies on it in mice look incredible. It's actually done things which look really good compared to traditional senolytics like quercetin and dasatinib. And another problem with quercetin and dasatinib might be that they aren't as selective as FOXO4-DRI, although we can't confidently say this quite yet. I do have concerns over their selectivity because there was a recent study that came out showing that they actually slightly reduced markers of biological aging according to Dunedin DNA methylation tests. Now, this was very negligible, and they did dose it for 3 days a month for up to 6 months, which in my opinion is excessive for a senolytic. You know, you only need to run this for a few days, maybe 5 days, every couple years, you know, maybe a year at most if you're into older age. But despite these being negligible, it did have a little bit more of an effect on shortening the telomeres. And I'm not saying that those senolytics are bad. You know, they knock down senescent cells. They have been shown to reduce inflammatory cytokines, improve metabolic health parameters, and overall they benefit health. I'm not saying that they're bad at all. I'm just saying that I think that peptides like FOXO4-DRI have more potential as being a more selective senolytic. And the mechanism of action is just so cool with how it can bind to, you know, actually p53 and reroute it. But yeah, it'll be so cool just to see the future advancements of these peptides. And I don't want to ramble on too much about this, guys, but you know, I'm just really passionate about these peptides. So anyway, I hope this video has been interesting for you. Let me know if you want to see more of this guy on my channel. You'll probably be seeing some videos from him posted soon. And yeah, enjoy the rest of your day.